The thing that I like about Belong is how it's bringing people back to God's version of discipleship. And when you read the gospel, you see Jesus doing life with his disciples. It's not just a classroom setting or him teaching them. It's as they go, are they changing the world?
I was definitely hit with a lot of feelings of inadequacy and just kind of on attack against my abilities as just to share the gospel, or to immediately just filled with like all the reasons why I wasn't the person to go out. And once you can lay aside all that stuff, God really wants to use you. In giving him my yes, I just saw it was as if like I don't have to go out and search for someone, or just it's like he's setting up these appointments because I'm giving him my time and my yes, and he's really just been bringing people to me. I think that shows the graciousness of our God. Even in my weakness, he's even like working with me and bringing opportunity just to share. It started really with my neighbors and people that I'm meeting as I just moved into a new apartment. He's really just opened up some conversations where I know without a doubt it's really the Lord kind of just putting me there to share the gospel. And so that's just a testimony of his graciousness. Even if you're feeling like you're not even worthy to go out, or you don't have the personality of an evangelist, or maybe that you just are listening to a bunch of lies, that you're just not able to do it, but God will come along with you and work with that. Even just give him your yes.
And this is really the heartbeat of Belong. I believe that it's the Father's heart for this season. The Bible says that Jesus says that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And we found that to be such a common thread in the American church. But it's time for us to really change the dynamic of the world's version of who Jesus is.
Me and Relly went to a neighborhood and we were walking around, and I seen a young man, and I just stopped and started regularly just dialogue with him, talking, and I asked the Lord in an internal conversation I had with him. I said, what about this guy? And I heard left foot. That's all I heard. So I said, hey buddy, you got a problem with your left foot? And he was like, yeah, and he explained, he said it was his ankle. I said, yeah, left foot, same thing. No, I'm just joking. So I prayed for his left foot, and then he let me come pray for him. And then there was some stuff he had going on, and I called it out. I heard the Lord say it, and he said yes. And then we gave him a word about his hands. I was like, you're really good with your hands. I was like, matter of fact, so you wanted to be an auto mechanic. And a lot of life has just came your way, and it sort of, pushed you back from what you wanted. I was like, you could tell me if I'm lying. He was like, you're not. And I was like, that's awesome. So I prayed for him, and I prayed for the confusion to leave, and I gave him my number so we'll have a follow-up. And I'm just excited about it, because this is what Belong is all about, is going out and reaching the lost. We're going for the one, putting the net out. So it was a really good time.
The call has not changed. The call has been for us to go, make disciples of all nations. And I thank the Lord for Belong, because it's bringing us back to who God's called us to be a voice in the culture, to actually go out and show people the love of Christ, to not be afraid to share our faith, and to bring people into the kingdom, and to teach them what it means to walk liberated in the freedom that only Jesus can provide.
We were walking through Walmart. We didn't really get anything. Devin got a word during service, or during our prayer meeting, that he would meet a lady named Denise. We didn't come across that lady. And so we came across another lady, and I got a word that she used to be a dancer, or she had a dream to be a dancer, and she got an injury when she was younger that kind of ruined her dream. And so I asked her about it, and she said she used to do gymnastics, and that she got an injury when she was younger or something like that, and some caused fibromyalgia or something like that, and she had like a really bad pinch in her shoulder. And so we prayed for her, and that pinch just left completely, and so that lady got healed. And then we checked out. That was at the checkout line. We checked out, walked to the car. We started driving the truck, and there was a flat tire, completely flat, like the wheel was touching the floor. And we had to go get a pump from inside. So we went to get a pump. We got a little pump, and he thought it was the one that plugs into the car charger port, but it wasn't, and so we had to take it back and return it. And so then when we took it back to return it, we met a lady at the checkout, or at the return line, that she seemed to be a believer already, but it seemed like we were kind of taking her back to her roots by telling her that Jesus loved her. And basically we asked her if she needed prayer for anything, and she said that her sciatic nerve was really killing her. And so she said that the pain level was at like about a 9. And so then when we prayed for her, it went down to a 6. And then we prayed one more time, and it went down to a 0.
Discipleship is not a classroom, it's a family experience where people can come and experience the power of God, the presence of God, and start to have a relationship with God, building in a setting where you can ask questions, where we can have dialogue, where we can pour into people who are broken or hopeless. And for us here at the Church Keeler, what we always say, the ones that the world has thrown away.
And we went to Harding's, walked around, didn't get anybody, and then so we grabbed drinks, we're in the checkout line, and while we're waiting for the people in front of us, I get a word about someone's back. I don't know who it is, so I'm just like, hey, this might sound crazy, but who here has back pain? And the lady directly behind us was like, I do. And it was chronic back pain, and I'm like, all right, scale of 1 to 10, where's it at? She's like, an 8. I'm like, okay, so pray on the lady's back. Goes from 8 to a 2. So I'm like, so here's how good God is. If he can take an 8 to a 2, he can take a 2 to a 0. So pray again, 2 to 0, and just got to bless her. And she's like, this is really weird. It's like, no, it's not weird. It's Jesus.
What Belong does is it stops you from getting comfortable in your pew. Because it tells you have to go out and make disciples. And that's what this is about. Belong is not for seasoned Christians. If you show up to Belong and you're a seasoned Christian, we're going to send you out on outreach to go and be a light to this world and salt to the culture. So we are just super excited about what God is doing here and what God has already done. And we are just excited about the future and how many people that we're going to be able to disciple and send out into the harvest field, because this is a season where the culture begins to shift, because the people of God actually say, I will give you my yes, Lord, and no longer give you my no.